What you gonna do when Chevy John Brown come for you?
Welcome back, Santa Clarita Valley, on your hometown station, KHTS AM 1220, with special guest Jeff Chavez of All American Bail Bonds, which is based in Santa Clarita Valley, and you can check them out at allamericanbailbonds.net. And Deputy Josh Dubin of the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station. We talk a lot about outreach in the community, and we were specifically talking about a talk that you had given at City Hall, Josh.
Right.
And Detective Uribe from the Special Victims Unit was there.
Right.
Also kind of given some
And him and I, kind of did a back and forth. He is actually one of the detectives that files many of these cases. And by files, I mean actually brings the case over from the deputy that writes the report to the detective. The detective does more investigation and then actually brings the case over to the district attorney's office for filing consideration.
And he does a lot of cases up here in the Santa Clarita Valley. So
right. He does a lot of cases up here in the Santa Clarita Valley involving sexting, social media, cyberbullying, different things like that. He also handles physical abuse, physical child abuse, sexual abuse. So he brought, a different perspective to many of the parents that were in the audience. And how many people would you say were there? 120 or so?
Well over 100. Yeah, probably 120. I mean, I couldn't count them all. I'm a journalist. I do words, not numbers. But what I think that a number I did find amazing was that about 15 to 20% of the Special Victims Unit caseload now includes sexting of one type or another,
right.
Which was just eye-opening for me. I mean, that's
right.
1 in 5 almost. And so that shows that it's a real problem and that you guys are handling that all the time.
And, he talked a little bit about some common things that we're seeing with our young people. And, basically to give the parents an education of not only, if your young person receives a sexually explicit text message, what to do, but what if your young person unknowingly takes that picture thinking that it's not wrong. And, you have a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old daughter that took a picture and sent it out, what the consequences could be behind those actions. So, it was real eye-opening, and a lot of the parents had a lot of questions. And some of the questions we had, you heard them, were, how do I protect my teenager from this? How do I monitor what they're doing? They're using, different apps now. Some of the apps that you and I talked about, they're using these apps, how do I protect them from using these apps? And these people are, chatting with them in chat rooms and different things like that. So a lot of questions came, about that.
Certainly something you didn't have to worry about in my day when all you had was pager code.
Right.
I mean,
you had the little book, the pager code book.
Constantly, absolutely. And there wasn't too much illicit you could do with that. You could spell things you weren't supposed to with numbers, I guess. But now it's all changing. And you kind of were mentioning some recurring themes, trying to drill home to parents as far as just, stay on top of your kid's stuff. It's not necessarily theirs. You're the parent. You paid for it, right?
Right.
Type of mentality.
And I'm sure with the you have some notes there that you took from it. One of the parents' father asked a question during the event.
Right.
But the point that I was trying to drive home was, stay on top of it. You pay for the cell phone as the parent, and you pay for the things that you provide them. There's not an expectation of privacy that you can't look in your minor child's cell phone. You need to be able to see what's going on. If they have a Facebook account, if you feel that they're mature enough and old enough to have a Facebook account, maybe you need to make one too and be friends with them. Maybe you need to have their Facebook password. Just some tips like that. We talked about, and it was, received pretty well from the parents, and, we could have gone for hours and hours and hours and had, this huge 100-person group conversation. There was a lot of information exchanged.
One thing I thought was kind of interesting was that the discussion of the Celebrite machine, which is something you guys can use to track basically anything on a phone, whether it's deleted, whether it's unlocked.
Right. That's a tool that as law enforcement we use. Oftentimes if we have a case, or it's mostly used by the detectives that are investigating a case, that they're able to extract information off of a cell phone for evidence purposes. So Detective Uribe talked a little bit about that in some child pornography type cases where evidence was on a cell phone, and he utilized that tool. So.
And speaking of inappropriate cell phone communications, you were telling me earlier we have some breaking news that we can get out there on the show, and we'll follow it up with the story on hometownstation.com, of course. There was a suspect. Well, you guys have in custody. There was a shopping center incident yesterday in Valencia area.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I don't have all the information as of yet. When I came into work this morning, I was working with the detective, and we're probably going to get something out later this afternoon as the investigation progresses. But the incident involved a person that is alleged to be one of our people that are on the Megan's Law website, a sex registrant and a registered sex offender, and was allegedly taking photographs walking up behind women, taking photographs of them. So inappropriate photographs, I should say. So active investigation. This is breaking as of a few hours ago. And so I'm going to be working with the detective as soon as we're done with this show back at the station to hopefully get some information out to the public on what to be on the lookout for and what we're doing and some details involving that investigation.
What I thought was encouraging also about the situation was that basically the store contacted you guys, right?
Right.
I mean, they saw
The store was
going on.
really proactive. Their loss prevention officers, closed circuit cameras inside the store, noticed this type of activity, noticed this individual allegedly going up, with women that had skirts and dresses on, taking photographs, immediately notified law enforcement. We got involved, and now it's an ongoing active investigation. So, and this is breaking as of, a few hours ago.
And speaking of breaking, we have to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back. I want to talk about some stories where the sheriff's station is looking for some outreach and trying to find some people. We're going to talk about that and where you can see their pictures on your hometown station, KHTS AM 1220.
When Chevy John Brown come for you.
Welcome back, Santa Clarita Valley. We're here on your hometown station, KHTS AM 1220, on the Neighborhood Watch every first and third Thursday of the month, although technically the first was a Thursday, so it's the second and third Thursday of the month.
This month.
Technically. I'm here in
Grab
the
your
studio.
calendar right now and tell me what day we're doing the next one.
Circle dates. So to the 15th, 22nd?
Is that the next one?
Yes.
Okay.
So mark
it on your calendar.
Save it. Tweet
I should put it on my calendar right now.
May 22nd, we will be back. Right now, focusing on the present, we're here with Deputy Josh Dubin, who you just heard, and Jeff Chavez, All American Bail Bonds, allamericanbailbonds.net. If you want to check that out, if you're in trouble, hopefully you're not. You can't tweet in the sheriff's station, right? No. So if you're actually looking at it, there's no okay. All right, just making sure.
You can't update your
Don't
Facebook
want to miss
status.
a demographic if we can. But here on the Neighborhood Watch, we talk about law enforcement outreach, our community, and there was a couple different people that you guys were looking for sent out public help, help for the public, from the public.
And we did. You want to talk about the one from last night?
Let's do that.
Okay. I did many on-camera interviews last night.
This is the search you're talking about, or which?
We're talking about the local gun club.
The gun club.
We
theft.
released the surveillance video and some still photos.
I got to tell you, Josh, I've been doing this for a few years. I have never seen security footage this crisp. I mean,
that's
look at
like
it, Jeff. That is pretty much high definition.
Yeah, it was high definition, outstanding
This
surveillance.
guy's family members didn't definitely recognize him if they saw that video.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody saw him and knew him, and you got a great shot of his tattoo as he's kicking the door open. So probably going to be able to distinguish him from a crowd.
And basically, the point I would say to talk freely is, we released the surveillance photos. This is an active investigation. We released some still pictures. We have two different ways. You can either call us directly and hopefully help us with this investigation. Do you know who this person is? Do you have any information? And if you want to remain anonymous, you can. The 1-800-222-TIPS, TIPS. You can call, remain anonymous. Oftentimes there's a cash reward that you could still remain anonymous. You can go to LA Regional Crime Stoppers, search that on the internet, and you will find their website, and they have tons of information about it to remain anonymous.
How do you do that? If you're calling in a tip and you're remaining anonymous, then how do they know to get money to you?
Well, if you check out the website, you'll see that they'll give you, it's like a money wiring type thing, that they'll give you instructions on how to collect it if you were the anonymous tipper that led to a big arrest, and it's all detailed on the website. So, and that particular case was a commercial burglary where about $1,800 worth of ammunition was stolen, and we're talking 223, 45 caliber, 9mm, 3,000 to 4,000 rounds, live rounds of ammunition. Then the case that he loaded it all up into, the rifle case, and a bottle of water. Out of the refrigerator.
The bottle of water.
And so we're looking for that individual in that theft.
Also, an incident of pickpocketing, ID theft that was going around. It's kind of reminded me of the blonde scammer case.
Right.
which that suspect was eventually caught and
Right.
put behind bars. It's
And you know,
a key thing.
was it NBC that just ran a big exclusive story on what we were just talking about, stuff like that?
Pretty sure it was KHTS, your hometown station.
Well, obviously.
But yes, it was also.
I'm talking about a national trend,
Right.
going on, and that brings us to a point that, let's bring it back to KHTS AM 1220, did do a story locally, and this, you know, applies nationwide. You know, about leaving your purse in your shopping cart,
Right.
and you know, it just takes 1 second. You're in Costco on the weekends, little free samples.
Oh gosh, that's why I go there.
There you go.
Also
And so
for
it
the
just takes.
groceries.
My point is, it just takes 1 second for you to turn away.
Right.
And somebody
take
could stick their
put some ketchup
hand
on the hot
out,
dog.
right? Put some ketchup on the hot dog, and then somebody sticks their hand in the purse, and the wallet's gone.
Yeah.
Now you have access to driver's license, credit cards. Hopefully, you're not keeping your social security card in your wallet. You know,
I'll be right back.
yeah, go put that away, Perry. And so, yeah, that brings up a good point on a story that you did do, and that we did some social media outreach on that about keeping your purse with you, keeping it zipped up, secured on your body, on your person at all times.
Again, yeah, people don't realize there are cameras pretty much everywhere.
Right.
So, you know, eventually you're gonna get caught if you keep doing that stuff. Another thing I want to highlight, you guys went on. There was no mission actually or special assignment, but there was 5 arrests made in 4 hours last week, just on drug-related charges through regular patrols.
Right.
That was.
And we have 1 minute left on the Perfect Hair just told us that we have 1 minute left on the show.
Perfect Hair.
But yeah,
Mark
you know what?
Urbina.
That was some proactive deputies. Early morning shift, which usually runs, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, all the way up to midnight, going into the 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Different parts of the valley, different parts of the city, traffic stops. Residents call us when they see something suspicious. A lot of arrests made, and so you did a story about that, just highlighting some of the proactive efforts. And one of the cases was a man that was alleged to have heroin in his pocket while doing graffiti vandalism. He was arrested, and there was a couple other drug related arrests. What was that? Five people in custody.
5 arrests in 4 hours.
Couple hours.
But yeah,
So-
our time has come to an end. Thank you,
There
Jeff
it is.
Chavez of
Thank you.
All American Bail Bonds.
Another neighborhood watch under our belt.
AllAmericanBailBonds.net. Exactly. Deputy Josh Dubin signing off from your Santa Cruz Valley hometown station. Send him out, Josh.
Follow us on Twitter at SCV Sheriff. We'll see you on May 22nd.
If you get